I mean, look at Guardians. I mean, Zoe was somewhat of an established name when we started out, but she was the biggest star we had in the movie.
Chris wasn't, and he was
Chris wasn't a star at all.
Exactly.
He was not a star, and Dave Bautista was not even known to the general public.
But don't you think that's why it kind of worked? That's why it worked.
I don't think it's because of that it worked. I think that if we had a big star who came in and killed his Star-Lord, it would have done well. But I think that it's about the performances first and foremost. And that when you have, characters like, and those were unknown characters, by the way. The characters were not celebrities. A couple 100,000 people read Guardians comics before the movie came out.
Yeah.
And they also changed a lot over the years. So there was no real fan base
I didn't know what the hell it was.
Yeah.
I didn't know what Guardians of the Galaxy was. I hadn't read the comics. I was a horror movie, Fangoria.
Yeah.
I know you read Fangoria. So it was definitely it was a risk.
Yeah.
It was a risk because it wasn't something like Superman that they know. Okay, we know this.
Chris Pratt gave a speech at the end of, as we were wrapping up the third movie, and he gave this beautiful speech. And he was crying. I didn't cry at all. He was crying profusely, just sobbing like a baby.
This is what he does with Pratt. This is their joke.
So he was very much crying like a baby. And it was a little embarrassing in how much he went on and cried. Like, I got to say, this is not what the story is about, but it was sort of embarrassing how much he
was a big baby.
Big ball of tears. Big baby. And people, a lot of people were snickering. I wasn't, a lot of people were laughing.
His wife was embarrassed.
If we ever show the tape, like in the behind the scenes, she's going to, it's cringy.
Oof.
No, he gave this beautiful speech. And in the speech, he was reading off, he went back and he looked up all of the articles that were written about the Guardians before the movie came out. And he's quoting, this is going to be Marvel's first bomb. And it was just all this stuff about nobody caring about these characters, Wow. And it was,
you cried.
What?
You cried.
I cried. I got teary. I got a very masculine tear. Sure. But I will admit, I cried a lot at Zoe's speech. It was really,
Okay.
I think
I don't know if you're fucking with Pratt again on that.
I'm not. I think he probably gets jealous when I say that, but it's true. I cried a lot in her speech.
I wish people knew they were there on your wedding day when Pratt read the. So James wrote something for Pratt to read, and I'm not kidding. I could not stop laughing. Everyone was just, and it was like, I owe everything I am to James Gunn. Without me, I'd still be the heavyset. It just went, and it was like, his wife's much prettier than my wife. And it went on. And on.
I wrote a speech for Chris, and he read it at the wedding. And I've never shared this, but it's like, I read the speech. Yeah. And he wrote this, and he comes up and he goes, my name is Chris Pratt. And then he goes on.
I owe everything I have.
Yeah. He talks about how foxy my wife is. And how,
and of course, he's reading with James Rowe.
He's like, I married Catherine. She's pretty good, and then he would break, and he's like, I'm sorry, Catherine, I didn't, and he goes on, and he talked about how much better the Guardians movies are than the Jurassic Park movie or Jurassic World movies.
Yes. Oh my God,
it was very funny.
I'm aging. I thought it was the best part.
He was so funny. He was so funny the way he delivered it, and people afterwards were like, because his acting was so good. People were like, "Did you really not read that till you went up there?" Well, half the people were like, "Chris, did you really write that?"
I thought that at first. I was like, "Did you actually write this?"
And it's like, "No, I wrote it." But and then the other half were like, "Did you really not read it before you went up there?" And because he goes, because he acted like he hadn't read the speech before he started reading it.
It was so good.